Holiday week in the Fever, they got some bad news following Saturday's close home loss to the New York Liberty. That's because Caitlin Clark, who has not missed a game the entire season, has not missed a game even in college, she's going to miss some time, at least a couple of weeks, then she will be reevaluated.
This don't make no sense, man. This don't make no sense. I think Stephanie White has had enough of all the bullshit going on in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark being hurt, yeah, she might be hurt, but I don't believe it's to the magnitude of what people saying. I think this is a message they sending out that we've done taking all this roughhousing and no fouls and all this BS and ain't getting no foul call.
Caitlin Clark is officially out for 2 weeks. That's the headline. But let's not pretend that's the real story. Because if you zoom out just a little, what's happening here isn't about a sprained ankle or a sore wrist. It's about the WNBA's most valuable player being used like a crash test dummy on the court while the referees whistle Dixie and the league leadership sips chamomile tea. Let's just call this what it is: negligence disguised as competition.
Now that right there is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, that's her, out there on the basketball court, chilling, out there shooting jumpers. Out there shooting jumpers. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Her jumper look wet too. Now you supposed to be hurt and chilling with your leg up, feet up. You out here shooting jumpers. You out here shooting jumpers. So what that lead me to believe is that her injury can't be too like, is it that bad? They say it's a grade 1. Okay, cool. Even if it's a grade 1, would you be out there shooting jumpers? Would you be out there shooting jumpers? Caitlin Clark is at the practice arena shooting 3-pointers. This might just be a message that Stephanie is like, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Y'all ain't gonna fix this. Y'all gonna keep letting my player get hound. Okay, cool. I'm gonna hit you where it hurt. I'm gonna hit y'all in your pockets.
Game after game, Clark has been bulldozed, slammed, elbowed, and yes, tackled like she was trying to score a touchdown instead of running a fast break. And guess how many times the refs intervened? Oh, right, they didn't. Because apparently, fouling the WNBA's biggest draw is just fine if you do it with enough force and a smirk. They let her get battered like it's the final round of a UFC fight and then pretend it's just part of the game. Let's get this straight. You don't let your box office star get body slammed on national TV and then act shocked when people start tuning out. This isn't just bad officiating, it's self-sabotage.
In her second year, she's already broken a record for most 25-point tennis assist games. In her second year, she holds that record. But what's being done to her right now is an absolute shame. She is by far the most important, most popular person the WNBA has ever seen in its history. And yet she's getting treated like crap every time she steps on that floor.
However, Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever and now, unofficially, the WNBA's first resistance leader. Because when Caitlin Clark hit the injury report, White didn't just nod and say, "We'll manage." Numbers she pulled Clark completely, not just for her safety, but as a giant, flashing warning sign to the WNBA. Keep this up, and you'll burn the whole thing down. And here's the kicker. Caitlin Clark's injury might not even be the full truth. Sources say the footage doesn't match the severity. The official word is 2 weeks out, but now leaked practice video shows Clark looking suspiciously not injured. Moving fine, shooting smooth. So what's the real story here? Let's do some simple math. If you can't keep your superstar safe, your coach will.
See on the last play from Caitlin, and then on top of that, what do you think of your team play game execution?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim.
Stephanie White made it loud and clear. No Clark, no ticket sales. No Clark, no ratings. No Clark, no WNBA buzz. And guess what? It's already happening. Viewership dropped, ticket sales flatlined, merch collecting dust. It's like pulling Beyoncé from a world tour and acting surprised when people stop buying tickets. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA right now.
Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. Just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight. Caitlin Clark's out 2 weeks. Caitlin Clark, somebody who was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity last season, including revenue from merchandise, ticket sales, and television.
She's the engine, the brand, the reason half the country even remembers the league exists. And you let her get ragdolled by defenders who couldn't guard her shadow without committing felony assault? All of this could have been avoided. But instead of protecting their golden goose, the WNBA chose chaos. They let rival players treat Clark like a crash course in how to collect technical fouls. The refs swallowed their whistles so hard, it's a miracle they didn't choke. And for what? To look tough? To prove some bizarre anti-hype point?
And as the league star player, she should not be bullied around or ragdolled, just pushed around like she is. There is an undeniable disparity in the officiating. I mean, think about the Kobe whistle in the NBA. No one touched him without an issue. I remember Draymond Green saying if anything happened to Steph, Draymond Green would get up in a player's face. That's not to say that there shouldn't be fairness in the officiating. Yes, Caitlin Clark should be called for fouls, but the fairness is what is being disputed here, in that she is being pushed around and not being calling, and that only hurts the league. It only hurts the eyes on the league because she is the star player. Like in the Atlanta game, it almost seemed like the strategy was to just like hack them and like kind of get up and...
Well, congratulations. Mission accomplished. You've proven Caitlin Clark is human after all, and now she's sitting. And so is half your audience. It's not even about favoritism. Nobody's saying Clark should be coddled. But how is it that the most targeted player in the league gets the least protection? That's not competitive equity. That's just stupidity dressed up in referee stripes. Stephanie White knew the only language the WNBA would understand is money. And that's exactly what they're about to lose. Because while Clark recovers, or rather sits out as a giant middle finger to league management, the Fever games aren't selling. The ESPN highlight reels are looking a lot more like meh than must-see. The buzz is gone.
But if anything, this should be a lesson to the league and a lesson to the officiating, because the amount of contact that is allowed without a foul call and the amount of physicality that Caitlin Clark has to battle through being double teamed and triple teamed, and honestly, it's mostly just not being called for these fouls, needs to be assessed. Caitlin Clark is the league's star player, whether you like it or not. It shows in the bottom line. It shows in the revenue. It shows in the viewership numbers. Every which way you turn, it shows.
Look at the numbers. Game attendance since Clark's 2-week break dropped by nearly 30%. Social media engagement tanked. TV ratings dipped so fast you'd think Clark took the cameras with her. And that's before we even get into the conspiracy theories. The leaked footage showing her practicing has fans whispering about a strategic sit-out, a calculated protest, not an actual injury. And honestly, that theory isn't far-fetched, because if you're Stephanie White and your player is getting clobbered while the league shrugs, what choice do you really have? You bench your star, make the league feel it in their wallets, and send the only message that matters. Protect her or lose everything.
Did you hear those terrifying screams yesterday afternoon? Did you hear those agonizing screams? Some coming from feminine voices while others sounded hyper-masculine. The terror, it was not coming from next door as your non-binary neighbor they threw them into the pool. It wasn't coming from the Target Center in Minneapolis as depressed fans of the Wolves are quickly realizing that Anthony Edwards ain't ready. The morning, it wasn't coming from Fresno, California, as Derek Carr continues to cry over the end of his NFL career. The agony yesterday afternoon, it was coming from the dump divers in the WNBA.
The WNBA had a golden opportunity. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a star, she was a cultural moment. She brought new eyes, new fans, and a level of excitement the league desperately needed. But instead of nurturing that momentum, they let it get body slammed into the hardwood. And now they're paying for it. Stephanie White isn't just coaching a team. She's playing chess with the entire WNBA, and right now, she's 2 moves ahead. Because while the league scrambles to spin the PR, White's already made her point. Protect your stars or watch your league collapse. The only thing more bruised than Caitlin Clark's shoulder is the WNBA's